Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the Love Island Cast. I am one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host today is not Mr. Dave Horrocks. It's our very good friend, Ed from @BrentLoveIsle on Twitter. So welcome to the show, Ed.
Cheers, Chris. Thanks for having me back.
Thank you very much, my friend. And obviously, Dave isn't here. He's not going to be here for most of the week. He's actually working away. With him being a secret agent, we're not allowed to say where he is, but he's in Europe somewhere. So I'm going to have a couple of guests on this week. And Ed has kindly said he'd step in for Dave. And I've got to say, Ed, how old are you these days?
37.
Oh, it's so refreshing having somebody around about the same age as me on the show, Ed.
A spring chicken compared to old Dave there.
He's gonna love that when he listens to this. But yeah, I really appreciate you coming on, Ed. I mean, obviously, a very strange episode tonight. Ian Sterling obviously did a speech at the start, which was lovely, mentioned about Caroline Flack, and obviously the episode was slightly different. Joe from I Secret Recorded My Boyfriend podcast, who's actually going to be on Wednesday, she said it was very, very subdued and very different, which it would be. I mean, obviously, we have done a show on this, myself and Dave, but there's no problem if you want to say a couple of things, Ed.
Yeah, I thought the previous show you did was brilliant on that. As far as today's one, I thought that was spot on. Like, I'm glad they all sort of did something. I thought Ian Sterling was sort of very deliberate in his sort of delivery, to the extent where I wondered if he was sort of struggling to get through some of it, because he's usually obviously so much more upbeat, and you're just sort of waiting for sort of one-liners at the end of it, and then just more on that sort of wider thing. Obviously, we've got a week to go, and they usually like ham up the love side anyway, but I did wonder if the producers might sort of lay off a bit of the drama and a bit of the sort of more shit-stirring type things, sort of with that in mind.
Yeah. It's interesting, you're right, because I wasn't sure, and I must admit, doing the podcast, especially with Dave not being here as well, I wasn't sure how we would approach it, considering the format of the show is to sort of just take the mick and everything. So I think the only way we can do it is just to carry on as we normally do, and just do what we've seen tonight, and let's just try and make it a little more upbeat if we can, if there is such a thing, with these tragic events. But I wanted to mention, and obviously the good thing is they haven't told the Islanders about what's happened in that respect. Whether it's a good thing about that, I'm not sure. I think maybe it will be, because I think if they did tell them, well, I don't know, actually, saying that, they'd probably have to end the show, to be honest, at this series, wouldn't they? They'd have to end it short, I suppose, because of what's happened, because of the reaction. So I don't know whether it's a right or wrong thing as I'm saying that out loud, but I do want to talk about Natalia and Jamie. Now, obviously, you've had a lot of watching. This is the first time you've been back on the show. I appreciate it. What is your pickup on this? To me, the strangest couples I've seen in Love Island for a long time.
Well, obviously, it's an Edinburgh local. I've got to sort of back the Scots a bit, but yeah, it was pure cringe, and I love it though. Like, and that's what I sort of love about dating programs, because like obviously everyone's always been in those situations before, and it's nice to see someone like balls it up even more than I've done in my history. Even with my sort of checkered dating history, I've ended up going in for a kiss and ended up with sort of side hug and all that sort of stuff. So it makes you feel a bit more human. But yeah, just like. I'd rather it happen naturally, and then he's just like gets so scientific about it, like, are we at the kiss stage? And you can just see her just going, oh no.
Yeah, that was awful. I mean, she's 100% playing the game, and I know Jess called her out, and Dave have said, Ed, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Ed. I'm so used Dave's going to love that. But Ed, genuinely, I think for me, Jamie's not behind the door as well. He's doing exactly the same thing. I mean, like you say, that line was fucking cringe on toast, wasn't it? It was just like, I don't want to get into it. It was just like the old put your arm around her at the cinema job, wasn't it? Like the, oh, and I mentioned that before on the show, but it was pathetic. And I was like, oh no. But the one thing I would say is, out of this, the one thing that Natalia shouldn't have done, going off the public opinions, is fucking slate Luke M. I mean, what did you think of that bit?
Yeah, the thing is, like, more generally, I thought when Luke, Em, and Demi got together, I was thinking, oh, have they actually got a chance of winning it? Because when you sort of look on Twitter and that, you see, oh, Luke, Em, oh, he's such a nice boy and this sort of thing. You just wonder, are they just going to sort of ride that wave to victory? And obviously Demi's sort of quite a character as well, but
yeah, interesting because you're right. I called Demi out and I'm still sticking to that. I'm not completely convinced by her or that relationship at all. And I do think, as some have said, Luke hasn't got a lot of chat. But it was ironic that as Jamie and Natalia are talking, the line above his head, I don't know if you saw it, was something like, give me some chat, or how's your chat, I think it said. And I was thinking, this is two of the most fucking boring housemates you've ever come across. And it was just, did you pick up on that at all?
no, I must have missed that bit.
It was the bit when he was going in for a kiss, and it was just above the side of his head. I was like, oh my God, this is the worst bit. But then when they go to, like, through the episode, it did feature him a bit more, and they were trying to garner and give us this idea that they're a couple. Nobody's buying it whatsoever. They're fucking... Oh, honestly, it's absolutely premeditated. I don't know. I mean, David shut me off at this point and say, but that's the whole point of the show. They're all bastards, all of them. They're just there for the fame. But these two, especially, I mean, and Jess Slater had and actually said, I don't think it's right on Jamie because she's there and she's only in here because she wants to stay in the villa. I mean, do you agree with that? Disagree? What do you think?
I don't disagree with that. I think they've come in very late. So even if they were like a really strong couple, I think it's just, and you'll see that in sort of what happened later with, it's easy for the couples to pick people out. They've only been together for like a couple of days. But yeah, I totally agree. There was like basically two single people left in the villa, and it's just like, right, should we just couple up then?
Yeah. And I understand it. I understand the dynamic. We've watched this so many times myself. You have. It's the nature of the beast, isn't it? But it's very strange. And I honestly think that when this goes to vote, they're both going, these two. There's nobody, even though Luke M got a few votes and stuff, and I genuinely can't see it at all. I just think we're going to be saying goodbye to them possibly on tomorrow's episode.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, they're a complete slam dunk. Like when they actually did the vote off, to skip ahead to that, I was just thinking, oh, this isn't going to be very much drama because obviously everyone's first vote is going to be Natalia and Jamie because they're too new and it's easy to just pick them. But I guess it depends exactly how many people they're going to vote off because given that they've now picked out everyone that had any votes, they could vote off, 1, 2, 3. Because I was thinking they'll just pick the bottom two people and then they choose between one, but that would still end up being Natalia and Jamie. So that last bit at the end where the sort of Molly and Callum curveball was probably a bit more relevant now in that they end up being in the public vote.
Yeah, and they could get voted off. You're right, Ed, because as well, I'll give full credit to Jess. She don't mince her words. She went all in on Molly and Callum there and just said, like, he's laid back, the other one wants reassurance and all this. And you're like, wow, that's proper.
Yeah. But when she was saying it, I thought, this is going to be a third vote for Mike and Priscilla. Yeah. And then even when she said it, I couldn't work out who she meant. I assumed she meant Molly was the overthinker and Callum was Jill. But, even that wasn't entirely clear to me.
No, I didn't get that dynamic at all. I agree. But also, so obviously we wait on this. What about Mike, Ed? I mean, we have an ongoing discussion with our good friend Terence on Twitter regarding Mike. And I do think we probably have been a bit harsh on him. And it's not the end of the world what he did tonight. And he apologised. I give him full credit. He completely apologised. But as soon as he patted her on the head, Priscilla was like, you don't do that, Mike, to anybody. Just it's not going to go well for you at all.
Yep, spot on. And, Jess was spot on as well. Like, I actually quite like Jess. Obviously, you sort of look at people that are dolled up like that and think, maybe they're not going to be the sort of cleverest people like that. But I think she's actually got quite a lot of emotional intelligence and she is obviously very bright and she acts as a mediator and that sort of thing. And she, I thought, spoke well to Priscilla and sort of has done that quite a lot actually throughout the series, sort of having chats to people, and you can see a sort of psychology degree working there. But yeah, I mean, the head pat was absolutely terrible. And I mean, it wasn't really that caused them to get the votes. It was obviously mainly Mike having had about 4 women, having gone for about 4 women, sorry, not had, but gone for about 4 women in the villa before that made him an easy target for the votes. But yeah, everyone's reaction to that was spot on. It was totally unacceptable. And even at the time, people were actually saying, "Oh, come on, that's not on." Like right after he did it, and it's sort of nice to see that happening in it, that sort of thing, not letting it slide. So
no, and I think Priscilla was good what she said, because she wasn't going to let it go because she wasn't sure he was genuine. She even said that, "Do you know why I'm annoyed?" So I must admit, Ed, I've been married 22 years and I always say it. And as soon as Sam says that to me, I never have a fucking clue what I've done wrong. So Mike should have just nodded his head and going, yeah. Because I never know when I'm getting a bollocking what the score is. So
oh, you go.
No, go.
I was just going to say, just going back to the game, I like the game because obviously it's not something where people are having to eat disgusting food or they're just like creating drama out of nothing. Like you can basically choose how much you want to twist the knife in on your fellow sort of couples, and you get a bit more of an idea of what people are like. And I think the answers actually helped Shanice and Luke T quite a lot because you got a bit more about what they're like in the villa, even though like a couple of them were negative about how they don't cook and clean and that sort of stuff. And it just made me think I'd actually quite like to see like a day behind the scenes, like just a whole day of like what actually happens. Like I know it's like massively overproduced, but we're probably at the stage now whereby Love Island's been on so long that they wouldn't, I don't think, completely destroy the magic by having just like a sort of behind the scenes episode or thing that showed what it's actually like behind the scenes.
No, I agree. I think on one of the extra shows like they have on the Saturday, I'm 100% certain they did it on maybe series 3, and it showed them going to the beach on like the day off, which is a Saturday. Yeah. And I don't know if you saw that, and it showed them just doing normal things. So they had that sort of interaction with normal people. Then they go on because there was the rumours, I'm sure it was series 3, there was rumours that a couple of the lads were having proper relationships with the production staff, and the relationships in the villa were all fake. So I agree with you. Something like that, I'd just humanise it a bit more. I do like the extra ones because it's just like normal people in the villa.
Yeah, and to be honest, my favourite part of probably the entire Love Island was the series where the one that then Jack and Demi, Danny, Jack and Danny one. My favourite part of probably the whole Love Island was just when Jack and Wes were doing that stupid like northern accents thing and just like having a laugh on that. And like obviously everything that's non-storyline, like non-love storyline, gets edited out. But I quite like just seeing a bit more of the daily minutiae of what's actually happening. And I find it quite interesting who's having like little chats here and having a bit of fun, and even just stuff like finding out if someone basically does none of the washing up and that sort of thing, because they're obviously all living with each other for quite a long time. So
and then you're right, Ed, because on stuff like Big Brother and that always influenced the votes. If someone's being a lazy bastard, they get voted straight away, don't they? Like, not pulling the weight, they're not cleaning the bathroom, they're not doing food, they're just sat there not washing the pots. It becomes quite a pivotal thing in the series, whereas on Love Island, it's never mentioned because it's all about the love, isn't it? But you're right, people are going to vote people off because when they were doing the game at the end, you're right, Natalia was so scathing towards Luke and stuff. Like you could just see the venom. But I do think as well that voting for 2 people weeded out the safe votes. And I think that's what it should be going forward on these things, because, you can vote for Jamie and Natalia, whether we like them or not, but they've then got to vote for someone else you don't like. And I thought that was really, really clever of what they've done, because usually everyone Jamie and Natalia be gone by now, to be honest.
Yeah, because it's 2 things. It's one, they probably don't have a much of a connection, but just secondly, they've just not been in there too long. So, like, if you're voting, the perception is people won't look at me and think I'm bad for voting that way, because that's understandable. Whereas you're taking more of a risk, like what Jess did, when voting for someone who you think would be sort of more established, rather than just, it would have been easy for them to vote for, Luke, Em and Demi and just say, well, you've only been together for 2 days.
Sort of thing. You're right. And I'm hoping in tomorrow's episode we get a bit of drama, because I think from some of the comments, they were very, very honest. And you don't usually get that with these voting. You get like, oh, yeah, it's just like Jamie and Natalia, oh, you've only been together a short while. But the other couples, it was quite cutting what they said. So I'd be interested to see if we get a few bits of drama with it. And like you said, though, I think, Ed, and you'd said this off the podcast, but you're right. But potentially they have it. extra bits of footage. We're not sure how far behind they are on us day-wise. We're not sure how, because obviously we didn't have an episode yesterday, quite rightly. So I don't know how that's going to work and how that works with the public vote, whether they just scrap a day's worth of footage. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think they'll catch up later in the week. Like, hopefully they don't do the baby challenge and they just speed it up. Like, obviously, usually the last week is them going on lots of dates and really hammering up the romance thing. But they really need to kick out quite a few more couples before they do that.
Yeah, I agree. And we could potentially as well. We probably will get another girl and a lad going in, won't we? So that's what they're trying to do to sort of shock it up over the last week, because that's exactly what happened with Greg last series. When he came in, obviously Mike had absolutely done Amber over. Then Mike played a play for Amber after Anna had gone over. He was on his own, and then he got with that other girl, and then obviously they come in swooped and won, and then the next minute Greg had dumped Amber. But you know, it's interesting. I mean, what do you think with my thing is? I'm dying for somebody to just take the money at the end, not split it and just take the 50 grand. I mean, it's probably not correct after everything that's just happened, but as a spectacle for the show, as a laugh, someone to do it and then split the money would be fine. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether that would work, to be honest.
I think it'd be brilliant TV, and I think, as you said before, like if it had been something specific, like Shauna ended up recoupling with Callum, then screwing him over, that would be good. But realistically, as you've said before as well, like they know they're going to get hundreds of thousands more from staying together and milking it for 6 months afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, really, really interesting. And what do you think overall then, Ed? Like, as in, who do you think is going to win? Because I know a lot of the couples. I'm not really adhered to a lot of the couples. Shanice, I'm sort of coming round to, and I like Luke T. Luke M's a good lad. I think Paige, I'm not sold on Paige and Finn at all. I'm not sure on them two. I think Priscilla, lovely girl. I'm not a big fan of Mike. I'm not sure going through them. These like Jess and Ched, I think the only ones who are very neutral, I think, are quite nice, to be honest.
Yeah, as I say, I think they've got a future sort of outside the villa. I think Luke T and Shanice have got a good chance. Shanice, it's all been fine now that everything's going her way. Like, I still think that she is sort of self-centered and has a lack of self-awareness. She reminded me a bit of Georgia Georgia Steele from a couple of years ago, and sort of with all the sort of "I'm real, I don't lie" as she tells a lie to someone's face, like just can't like work out the reality between what she's saying and what she thinks in her head. And that comment about Luke T that someone said about he talks like he's been asked to read aloud in class, I was laughing for ages after that. But as I say, they've both got a bit of personality about them. So I mean, sort of at this stage, why not? To me, I think one of the most solid couples as far as the solid journey obviously is Paige and Finn. And I like Paige because she's obviously got the Scottish bias there. And in fairness, Finn seems just a nice guy. He's not really put a foot wrong the entire time, but sometimes you want a bit more, drama, a bit more of a journey, I suppose. And I like the Luke's bromance. And then Mike, I really like Mike. Obviously, he's a player, but he's been like, along with Shauna, throughout it's probably been the two most entertaining people. So really what we need is a girl to come in that's basically Mike's soulmate and just see what happens over the next couple of days.
And you know what, you make a good point, because I remember when we've done, like, obviously Dave's debut was the UK one last June, and 6-7 months later, and we've done, like, this is our 4th series doing it. And the one thing that Dave's picked up on, we all pick on, you've just said it absolutely perfect, Ed, is it's fucking boring as fuck that last week. When they're in them wanky, as you just said, them showman's dates that they go on where it's like in a helicopter or whatever they're doing, they're absolutely awful TV, because you're just like, this is so fake. It's just like when you watch like a beauty pageant and they're just like saying everything you want to hear. And that's what these people are doing. They're just trying to promote themselves to get the votes in the end, aren't they? Yeah.
I mean, I suppose it's people prefer the drama of Love Island. It should be called Drama Island, because that's what people are really tuning in for, rather than, those sort of going on dates and the nice sort of stuff. And if I hear any more screeching after someone says the word girlfriend or boyfriend, I'll be switching off, I think.
Yeah, I know. Oh, it's fucking horrendous, isn't it? Absolutely horrendous. I still can't get my head around that. We've not actually had anybody email into us, but I mean, obviously you're slightly younger than me, Ed, but did you ever do any of this shit when you were going to ask your girlfriend or boyfriend or whoever to get with them? It just doesn't make any sense.
No, exactly how you said before. It just gets to that point where you're just like, all right, yeah, okay, we're at that sort of stage now. I think it's just become a thing within this show specifically where it's just like another thing that they can massively overproduce and like squeeze like 10 minutes more content out of.
I mean, did you buy any of that Luke T had sent all the messages to the guys?
Well, I thought maybe between them they could have come up with those riddles, but yeah, even then I think given the producers helped them with their sort of speeches when they're picking people, I'm sure they had a few words and
exactly.
few costume designers in there to sort out those.
No, and it's the production. Exactly, it's the production of the show, isn't it? So you're right, to be fair. So thank you so much, Ed. Really appreciate you coming on, and we're definitely going to get you back on with Dave towards some point next week, because unfortunately you've not actually done a show with old man Dave, have you? I mean, I know it gets to a late point of the evening and he's got to sort of check out, and he's going to absolutely fucking rinse me when he hears this. But I do appreciate it. So where can everyone get you, Ed?
At Brent's Love Isle on Twitter. And cheers, Chris. Thanks for having me. Keep up the good work.
No problem at all, mate. Really, really good. Yeah. And if you want to contact us, guys, at Love Island Cast on Twitter. And if you want to email in, get emails in. We love reading them out. And it's the Love Island Cast at gmail.com. And Dave, wherever you are in Europe, my friend, I hope you enjoyed every single minute of this. And the old comments were just meant as a joke, because we all know you really are that old. So we'll see everybody tomorrow. See you, Ed.
Cheers.